Hello folks, we're up to lesson number 10. Now, as you know, lesson number 10 has several parts to it. We're talking about functions, we're talking about relations, we're talking about graphs. It's actually a very, very important unit. And just like we've done things so far, we'll take it a step at a time. This short video is giving you some information about items in the task list. So if you would, let's talk about those now. All right, so I've got my browser open and I'm looking at this information. And our first section 10.1 would be functions. You had some information on in lesson 9 on functions, but this is a really good review of that for the first part. So here's your organizer with all the things laid out, your assignment, and I will have to say that the rest of chapter 10 will be a whole lot easier if you get the basics down, and that may be a good thing. Here we have more of a definition of a function. Good writing, good material. I would say it's very well explained. Now you have a couple Khan Academy videos, and I do encourage you to look at this. If you have any possible misunderstanding of what a function is and what a function is not, it would be great if you would read and watch those videos. I know you may pop in and go, oh, that's 5 minutes or whatever. It's worth your time. And then we have more on functional notation, which I talked about before. F of x, what does that mean? Now we have a piecewise function, and that's where you have, it's kind of like going to the post office and sending a package. If there's different weights, then there's different charges that are given. So piecewise functions, please take a look at that. A couple really good videos on how functions work and how you can find the value of a function. There's a very good video on graphic relations and functions. Of course, everyone talking about the domain of a function. In other words, it's kind of like this. A student goes to a college, a whole bunch of people there. The guy's a guy, and he wants to date a girl, and his friends say, "Man, there's a lot of girls here you could date, but don't date that one. Don't date that one." It's kind of like that. Maybe the other way around for the girl and the guy. I'm not exactly too sure, but what we're doing is we're talking about the exceptions to all real numbers. And there's two. One would be the square root of a negative number. We can't have that. Not on a real number line. Okay, so keep that thought in mind. We only graph real number functions on a real number line. And then whenever the denominator is 0. So remember, 0 over 1 is possible. But 1 over 0 is called 0, is undefined. You can't do that. You can't divide by 0. So keep that thought in mind. Then down here there's a short video, very short video on finding the domain of a radical. And of course you have your quiz there. Now notice there's not a discussion point here because you got this whole unit broken into several pieces. So if you would, look at the discussion 10, and I'll post some videos up there, and I will do my best to break it down into little chunks so you could just see them a little bit at a time and get the understanding that I would like you to get from that particular part of lesson 10. So with that in mind, I wish you well, and don't forget to contact me, reach out to help that is available. And if you haven't tried the Embedded Tutor or Smart Thinking, you should have already done that by now, so try it when you have a moment. Remember, the course is a little fast-paced, so manage your time, and once you do that, you'll feel pretty comfortable. Keep at it, and best wishes.